Welcome back to JASON Boxing. Excuse me. Okay, so Edgar Berlanga defeats Jason Quigley, a 12-round unanimous decision. He scores 4 knockdowns. But before we go any further, I want to say that this is the best Jason Quigley I've ever seen, because my prediction for this fight, if you saw my video, was that Berlanga would quickly drag Quigley into a scrap, and he'd do him in 3 to 5 rounds. Not a bit of it. I mean, clearly the guy's got heavy hands. We knew that anyway. Berlanga, first 16 fights, excuse me, were first round knockouts, but he's now gone the distance in his last 5 fights. He's 21-0, no draws, 16 KOs, and again, I mean, if you go the distance, if you do 12 rounds, you're going to learn stuff, because you can look back at your performance, watch it on tape, and then say, should have done this, should have done that, shouldn't have done that, could have done that better. But Quigley deserves a lot of credit, because he came in with perfect tactics. If you've got a guy in front of you who is a come-forward banger, you know, Berlanga the banger, I mean, he can punch, we know that. Either the fight will become the hunter and the hunted, or it will become the bull and the matador. And Quigley was obviously intent on, he knew Berlanga was going to come straight at him. He was intent on being the matador, and for much of the fight he was, although he didn't land many hard punches. He caught Berlanga with some clean punches, individual pot shots, definitely some great counters. But a lot of it was jabbing, a lot of it was keeping the guy on the end of the jab. An awful lot of it was footwork. You know, it was good boxing, but Berlanga didn't fire enough punches. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the scores were, was it 116, 108, which means 8 rounds to 4, and then you've got the knockdowns, and then actually two 116s to 108, I think it was, and then one guy had it 118 to 106, which was, to me, was way too wide. Yeah, Berlanga won the fight. He scored 4 knockdowns, but it's just, he wasn't doing enough work, and he was kind of following Quigley around, and he wasn't. Quigley, for a lot of those rounds, was containing the bomb. He was maybe not diffusing it, but he was keeping that power contained, and that's what you want to do against someone like Berlanga, who you know exactly what Berlanga's going to do. He's going to hunt you down, fire big punches, really put the heat on you, try and grind you down. And he almost did it to Quigley, especially in the last round, which we'll get to in a moment. But for a lot of this fight, Quigley was looking, you know, as good as I've ever seen him, easily. He's teamed up with Andy Lee, and clearly it's paying dividends immediately, because Andy Lee, he actually looked a bit like Andy Lee in the ring, like the way Andy Lee used to fight. Although he doesn't really have Andy Lee's pop, I don't think. So the first 2 rounds, with lots of feints, both orthodox fighters, by the way, lots of feints. I gave the first 2 rounds to Quigley, and Berlanga looked like he was having a look, seeing what was going on, you know, trying to read the guy. In the 3rd round, again, it would have been a Quigley round, except that right at the end of the round, Quigley got caught in a corner, and he's got a habit of sort of leaning himself down. He left himself exposed. Berlanga, right hand to almost on the back of the head, this sort of area. Down goes Quigley, and it's a knockdown. Goes back to the corner, no problem. But then in the 4th round onwards, from the 4th round onwards, Berlanga, obviously sort of G'd up by that knockdown, starts to come forward with a bit more intent. And in the 5th round, he really had Quigley in a lot of trouble. I've got to get these knockdowns right. In the 5th round, yeah, he knocked Quigley down. I can't remember that round. Was it an overhand right, straight right? But anyway, Quigley went on the floor in the 5th and was beginning to look a bit beaten up. So suddenly he's gone from being the matador against the bull to being the hunted by the hunter. And you're thinking, oh, the writing's on the wall now. I mean, the 5th round, it was, yeah, he was getting beaten up, Quigley. But gradually he edged his way into it by boxing really, really well. And again, Berlanga always looked like a threat, but he wasn't firing enough punches. And Quigley, okay, you're probably not going to win rounds for jabbing and moving, but if you're not getting hit cleanly, maybe once or twice, why should you be given the round? You know, Quigley was boxing well. He was containing the power. And this sort of carried sort of on and off up until the 12th round. But in the 11th round, Quigley looked in complete control. I mean, he's got 2 knockdowns against him. So, yeah, okay, you know, that's a bad thing. But he was doing what he had to do. His tactics were very, very good, and I think we can give Andy Lee credit for that as well. But in the 12th round, he unravelled, Quigley unravelled, because Berlanga, whose corner were really berated him throughout the fight. Why are you not working the body? Why are you not throwing enough punches? Why are you not jabbing? All of these are valid criticisms. But they really got on his case between the 11th and 12th round again, and he came out with some purpose, and he started going straight after Quigley and got him again. I think it was in a corner, one of the same corner he scored the third round knockdown. He fired a left hook, and Quigley, it caught Quigley, but then Berlanga also fired a right hand that banged straight onto Quigley's was it his jaw, side of his face, and he fell forward, and it was a clear knockdown and quite a heavy knockdown. But he got up, Quigley, no problem. He got up. He was running. He was trying to jab and move, but he was in defensive mode. Make no mistake about it. Berlanga tore after him, and then had him over again. But this was a controversial knockdown. I don't think this was a knockdown, because Quigley was in the opposing corner to the one of the first knockdown, and I thought he actually was sort of cuffed over. I don't think it was a knockdown. I think he was almost sitting on the ropes and fell to his side, and the referee called it a knockdown. I think the right hand from Berlanga sort of zipped over his head. So that was not a knockdown to me. Oh, by the way, I've just remembered the knockdown in the 5th round definitely wasn't a knockdown, because it was a weird thing where Berlanga fired a punch, missed, and Quigley sort of tripped over his own, skipping away and tripped over his own feet and fell over, and the referee called that a knockdown. So 2 of these knockdowns in this fight I didn't think were knockdowns. But anyway, Quigley hanging on for dear life in the 12th round. He managed to get there, but he wasn't going to win this fight, not with 4 knockdowns against him. And sure enough, I've told you what the cards were. I mean, I can't remember what I scored it. I might have had a draw without the knockdowns, but I don't know what it was. I can't remember. I've sort of gave up scoring it, halfway through the fight. But did Berlanga win this? I suppose with those knockdowns you have to say yes, but he's vulnerable. He's vulnerable to a slick boxer, and if you get a slick boxer who's prepared to also fire a few punches with some pop, which Quigley did. I mean, Quigley himself has 40 knockouts in his 20 wins. But he hasn't got that one punch pop. He was landing clean with Berlanga, and I think a guy with heavier hands, a guy who is a box fighter, a guy who can be matador but also has got a bit of bull in him, I think he might have Berlanga on the back foot, and if you can push Berlanga back, I think he's in a lot of trouble. I'm not saying he's not a bad fighter, Berlanga, but he's clearly got power, but power isn't everything, and I think to some extent Quigley exposed him, to some extent, because Quigley's really only, he's a B-level fighter, good fighter, but not an elite fighter. I don't think Berlanga's an elite fighter either. This is at 168, by the way. Don't forget, Quigley was coming up for 160. Maybe that did him all the good in the world, but for Quigley to do to Berlanga what he did for a lot of that fight does not bode well for Berlanga in the future. Berlanga's got to learn from this, just like he learned from his previous 4 victories on points, because he's got a lot of work to do. He's 26 now, so he's coming into his prime. Quigley is older, 32. Is this his last chance at world level? Maybe, but this wasn't a bad performance. He'll get some paychecks from here on in. But anyway, what did you think of the fight? He was on DAZN. Go and have a look at it if you haven't already. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below. And thanks for subscribing. If you're new to the channel, you could subscribe and spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. That'd be great. And also hit the like button as well. Thanks for your time. I'll look forward to reading your comments. Bye for now.